Hello, we're just going to have a chat with Amy tonight. Amy came to see me a little while ago, probably about 14, 15 months ago, and amazing story, very, very unusual, and it was just, this needs to happen, this video needs to happen. So, Amy, hello, welcome. Thank you for doing this as well.
No problem at all. Gives me a nice quiet evening.
Why? Wasn't you expecting one?
Not normally. It's currently 10 minutes till child number one's bedtime, so.
Okay.
Never quite.
Okay, so just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I don't know where to start really. I'm in my 30s, let's say. I'll leave it there. And I'm a Lincolnshire resident. I've got 2 stepchildren at home and live with my partner. I work full time. I guess I got in touch with you, Carl, didn't I? As you say, just over a year ago, having had sort of trauma that hadn't been processed in childhood and had been added to over the years, and I was struggling to find what would really make me feel better inside. I'd spent a lot of time accessing different types of therapy privately, you know, as well as trying to access services through the NHS. I'd not had much joy. I didn't seem to be able to get quite to what was having the impact on me. So I actually was introduced to Carl through a colleague, and yeah, got in touch and came and had my first session. So
yeah. So that would have been about September time 2019. So
it was, yeah. So
yeah.
like I said, I'd tried a few different things over the years, and I'd even tried. I think I said to you in the first session, or maybe in my first email, that I'd tried meditation and journaling. I was up every morning at 4:35 in the morning to meditate before the family got up, and journal, and you know, I'm a real true believer in law of attraction, but there was something about my mind frame that just wasn't changing, just somehow wasn't able to, I don't know, quite believe what I believed in, or quite live what I believed in. There was some little thing holding me back, and I just knew I needed to find it, and I guess I wasn't going to stop until I did, because I couldn't go through the rest of my life living by the trauma from such a long time ago. I knew where it came from. I just didn't know how to fix it. No. And I think that was probably the most frustrating thing about it. Like I felt like I'd researched so much. It was all I wanted to be was mentally well, really. Not that I was you know, constantly poorly or you know, as severe as others might be, but it was having an impact on my happiness, on my relationships, on even down to things like staying in a job long term. I've always been successful, and I'm, as somebody who has suffered quite badly with depression and anxiety and PTSD, a lot of people wouldn't have known quite what was going on with me. They wouldn't have known that. Sorry.
And this is it. We function very well, don't we? A lot of people do function really well when they're suffering with these things.
Absolutely.
They put this facade on that kind of just detracts what everybody sees, so we can kind of just. I think it's a lot of the time it's because most people don't want to have to deal with everybody else's issues around you having problems.
Yes.
Yeah. So we put this thing on, so it kind of keeps them at bay as well.
Yeah, because I think everybody wants to help, and I don't think it's anything more than that. But who can truly understand what goes on in somebody else's mind? Really, in the grand scheme of things, nobody has that same genetic programming and the same life experiences. And I mean, as a child, we're in the hypnotic state of our brain waves until we're around 8 years old. So everything that's happening in those years is programming who we become. And that experience isn't the same from one person to the next. Siblings, same household, same twins even, because their perceptions of each situation is different. And where people try and help, it's lovely, but it can take over your life. You don't want to be defined by who you are mentally and where you've come from, and from the fact that life just isn't processed the same as other people. You don't have those same understandings.
So just going back to when you first contacted me, I obviously sent you a client questionnaire out. I do it all clients, and you returned it with basically anxiety, depression. When you came for the session, so I kind of read through that, looked for all the little indicators that we look for with that type of thing. And when you came and sat down, the first thing pretty much you came out with was a bit of a surprise for me. Obviously, I do specialise in trauma anyway, as you know, and I see a lot of people with it, but your particular case was very, very unusual. So if you just to tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I mean, it's not been a secret in my life. It wasn't an intentional thing not to mention to you.
Can you put in for a second? Obviously, I know you will tell can you just kind of explain a little, don't go into your detail, but just explain a little bit around it, only because there'll be some people watching this who won't know what it's.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Especially the younger generation.
Oh God, that makes me feel old. Carl, what have you done to me? No, I'm still so cool. Crikey.
You are still young.
I think first thing to say is it wasn't an intentional. It wasn't a conscious thing, not mentioning it to you, because it's not been a secret in my life, in any way. It's not. I've never been ashamed or tried to hide it because of the effect it had on me. But I almost wore it like a bit of a badge of honor. That sounds awful, doesn't it? But it made me a somebody for a long time. I lived by the definition of that. So actually, when you mentioned to me that I hadn't put in the client form what the situation was that led to the trauma, I was shocked, wasn't I? Can you remember? I was like, "Are you sure?"
Because you actually said that. I kind of wear this as a badge of honor. That's what you said.
Yeah, like not. It just has been a defining point of who I am, and I think because it was such a big event, it was the shooting at Dunblane Primary School in 1996. So, for those that don't know about it, an absolute prick, let's be honest, an absolute piece of shit, walked into the primary school. There's a longer story to it about intentions and what he'd hoped to achieve on that day, as the tabloids told it, I suppose. But he walked in, he entered the gym, he shot and killed 17 people, so 16 children and their teacher. And he then turned the gun on himself. But within that event, that it wasn't a 30 seconds and it was over sort of event. I think there was about a 15-20 minute period where I was in the school. So there were things that my classmates and I saw. We weren't in the gym. We weren't that age range. I was 8 years old when it happened. So damn it, just giving my age away. But my best friend lost her little sister, and moving away from Dunblane 2 weeks after the shooting because of family situations. Our house had sold. My brother was in for quite major surgery down at Sheffield Children's Hospital with his lower limb disability, and you know, being so far away from family, we'd already made the decision to come back to England and be a bit closer to you know, our extended family
You
members.
support network, I suppose.
Yeah. Although it was obviously the decision had been made well before the shooting, so
Yeah.
it was never anything to do with that. It was just, I used to joke when I was a kid and say, I wonder if it was like a goodbye present, leaving present. See ya, don't come back. Um, because I had to make some sort of, I don't know, like almost not a joke out of it because that's awful, but find some way to make it a bearable. Oh, it's just part of, you know, just part of my history. It's not.
Yeah.
I can deal with this. I can, you know, dust myself down and yeah, it's a big thing, but it's okay, you know.
Do you think that moving away so quickly after created some of the problems for you as well?
Um,
Because
I've
you weren't
always
able
been,
to deal with it with the rest of the children around there in
we
that way?
I never went back to school after that day because obviously, yeah, school closed. The streets were flooded with the older people watching will know that were flooded with floral tributes. I mean, it was an event that shook not just our country, but
Well,
the world, and that sounds awful, doesn't it? Because it's not an uncommon thing in places like America, but somewhere so little, so beautiful, so quaint, so quiet. I mean, as children we were so free. There was, you know, people knew each other. I could hop across to my friend's house and go play and walk myself to school. There was never any fear within the community
until that day, and then
till that
everything changed.
day. And I don't suppose I know how that's changed the community either. I mean, I've kept in touch with a few friends over the years. I think that was something I held on to very, very tightly for a lot of years, was that connection. I had to speak to them on the anniversary every year, and I'd ring each of them and I'd need to speak to them. um but yeah, moving away quickly did have an impact. I would say. I mean, I can't diagnose myself. I can't I can't dissect the brain and find the exact triggers, but um, I would say so. I don't know what was offered to the other children in school to support them afterwards and to process what had happened with them. I mean, I did see my friends either at my house or their houses afterwards in the time before we moved. And my mum says she can remember it was so hard to hear, but us sat role playing out the event like it was something we'd watched on telly,
Mm.
and having to sit back knowing that our minds needed that process to
Yeah,
support our understanding of what had gone on, but having to sit back as the parent and hear your child replaying such an awful event
yeah,
must have been soul destroying.
yeah,
You know, to have not only gone through it, but then in the days afterwards hearing it played out again and again, as if it's, you know, every newspaper and every channel wasn't enough. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah. um,
Okay.
no, we moved. As I say, we moved to a lovely little place in the Midlands, and was suffering, not probably to the extent I have done over the years. I was a bit of a lost little girl. I had horrific night terrors. Horrific night terrors. Would wake up screaming that, you know, everyone was dead, and you know,
Yeah,
it took a while for my mind to settle back down, I suppose. And my mum's always said there was elements of my personality that changed quite drastically from that day. Literally, another child came home from school that day,
yeah,
from somebody that was very outgoing and bubbly and um, just had no fear in her heart, just had no, I guess, judgment of others either. So people were just people, and they were just lovely, and you know, I was the child going up to the strangers in the shop asking did they want to see my new dance. And from that day I was quite in some ways withdrawn, but as I got older it became louder, cockier, not so pleasant.
Yeah.
You know, I think it only took about a year, you know, so what would it have been, 9, 10, before it really hit the teenage years, and you know,
Really? That quick?
rebelled against the world. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And my mum tried to get me therapy. She did. She got in touch with some services through the, I guess, through the NHS. I'd assume so. I've never actually asked the question. But it didn't work out. So mum attended the first session and explained sort of from her side of things. So what she knew I'd experienced, what we'd come out with since, what the changes she'd seen and things in me, and turned up for the first session with me to obviously because I was still young, and the room was filled with students. I think she said there was around 15 people in the room, which, you know, all for helping students. Everybody's got to learn, that's okay. But at one point she just sort of said to them, look, I appreciate, you know, you're here to learn, but I need to see a show of hands of who can help my daughter in this room, who can help my little girl. And not one person raised their hand.
Yeah.
Because
how can they?
How can they?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
You kind of get that.
So that was kind of the end of
the
external support.
mainstream therapy support. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It didn't. I didn't access anything till, crikey, what would my first thing have been? Probably into my 20s.
Oh, really? So you kind of you skipped your whole teenage years.
I was just a teenager. I was just angry, promiscuous, not somebody I'm particularly proud of. A very, very lost soul. Made some wrong decisions. Nothing too severe. You know, I've never been arrested. I've never, you know, done anything too horrendous. But just not somebody I'm proud to have been. Just lost your video there, Carl.
Still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah,
we froze a little bit. We might have to edit that little bit out. I know we didn't want to edit this, did we? We just want to let it run.
It's fine. It's fine. I can't remember what I was saying.
I lost you when you got into sort of when you started seeking outside help in your 20s.
In my 20s, yeah. So yeah, really went through my teenage years just thinking I was a teenager, and I guess a lot of what I felt was normal. Teenagers are angry. Teenagers are emotional. The hormones are all over the place. They're finding their way in the world. They're deciding who they are as people. That's what we see teenagers as, isn't it? Like, I know. I guess that's sort of been my viewpoint.
To be honest, I was the same. You know, before I learned this stuff myself, I was one of these people who just thought that all the problems I ever had in my life were down to just life, just putting it on me and just deal with it and get on and just do whatever.
Yeah.
And it's only since I started working with people myself that when they're telling me their stuff and it really relates to what used to go on inside my head sometimes, that kind of put the link in for me to say, well, actually, it's not really normal to be that way. It's just circumstances done that to you. Because I can see that with a client, but when we're immersed in our own stuff, it's not very easy to see.
No, because it's not like I had a conscious moment that my personality had changed. To me, inside my head, what I recognised as a child was the same little girl that had walked into school that day that got picked up by their mum a few hours later when, you know, the police letters out. Like, even that in itself, going home to your mum when the police say it's okay is bizarre for an 8-year-old to process.
Yeah.
So
then skipping forward in time, if you like. So you obviously got to the point of, it's like you said to me, I've tried pretty much everything. When we first met, you tried pretty much everything. And I was recommended to you by one of our friends, mutual work, what was your work colleague and our mutual friend. And last resort, Carl, but we all know that's how it kind of works. It's use the stuff that's kind of everybody knows first, and then I know this person who does this thing, and obviously that's how we met.
And obviously she could speak from experience of knowing people that had been to see you as well, and had spoken of your therapies, not just knowing you as a friend. Because it's a brickie by day, and I thought, God, that's dead weird. I've heard around builders and bikers and you name it, and I definitely couldn't picture a brickie in a therapist role. I'm sorry to have judged you.
No. I get that now. I'm still quite amazed that I go to work and do a day's work on site and then come home and do
and
this.
Then come home and change people's lives, Carl.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous, really.
What?
Okay, so let's get into. So we sat down, we had a little bit of a chat. Yeah,
we did.
Obviously, we will say as well. You are now a certified practitioner in IMT, aren't you?
I am, yes. Yeah.
You did your training last February, I remember.
Nearly a year.
Yeah. And was that on the back of what we did, really?
It was, yeah. I'd always grown up wanting to help. I am sorry. Baby gives me hiccups quite regularly. I'd always been the one. So.
Oh, you didn't mention that bit. Sorry.
Yeah.
Age pregnancy. Age has little one in.
2 months. Crikey, not long.
Oh, really? Is that all? Wow.
Yeah. Do you know the funniest thing? I think
you could call it Wolfgang.
Definitely never naming my child. No. You will forever be magic to me. Magic, which no, my child shall not be called Wolfgang. No, my little girl is due on the 25th anniversary of the shooting.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Like, how special is that?
Yeah.
We can't guarantee she's going to be born that day, but that has been, my due date confirmed, and
wow.
I feel like there's a little something special in there.
Yeah.
This is.
Well, yeah. Hopefully that'll be great. Actually,
I'd like it to be born on a due date. I'm not particularly keen on the idea of staying pregnant for longer.
No.
With life being as busy as it is right now, I'm definitely not ready for her to arrive earlier. So due date's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry. Back to.
No, it's fine. No. I actually interrupted you. So yeah, so back to, we got sat down with a little bit of a chat. And we can do, obviously just want to say this for everybody who's watching, that we can do our work without disclosing anything, can't we?
We can, yeah, yes. You might have noticed I'm a chatterbox. So talking.
Yeah, so we didn't have that problem with Amy.
No, but I can now speak as a practitioner and say that actually I've had clients that haven't disclosed anything. We've just worked with how the therapy works and had great success. So just because I talk far too much doesn't mean that.
Yeah, I can vouch for that, because we are very, very good close associates now. Is that what we call it? Yeah, that'll do, won't it? Yeah,
mainly abuse each other. I did actually get told off by Facebook this week for bullying Carl.
That's the best one. It's the first time anybody's ever stuck up for me.
Hey?
It's the first time anybody's ever stuck up for me.
It has to be Facebook, didn't
it? Okay, so our first session, because we did, I thought we did 2 main ones and then we did an old pain one. and then obviously, I'm sure that's how it went. But I think you thought we did 3, but it doesn't matter. So first session. What happened on the first session?
We talked a lot. I talked a lot through with, I guess, what I'd analysed for myself as to what had happened and why I was how I was, and trying to tell you how to do your job, I guess, because I'd lost the faith over time. I don't know that we worked on Dunblane that first session.
No, we probably didn't.
Because, again, I suppose...
Well, I think we did. I think we went back, because obviously we did the trauma stuff. I'm sure we did one little bit and then kind of moved forward massively. It
kind of jumbles together what was each session to me now, you know?
Yeah.
Mainly
because it's a while ago.
I'm struggling to access the memories that we worked on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's I can't remember exactly what we worked on, because there is things that have sort of happened since the shooting, haven't they? And that have added to it, that I guess were parts of me before it happened that changed how I viewed things. There was, you know,
we have revisited stuff, haven't we? But it's kind of, I just think it's interesting, the actual, that you found it. Okay, so this is probably the most important bit for me, that you found it useful enough to come again.
Yes. Oh my goodness, yeah.
You know, because obviously you could have turned up here and just thought, what a load of crap, see ya. But something happened, didn't it?
I felt so light after that first session. So calm. I walked out. I mean, we didn't even realise. I can remember my other half. I got a load of texts and missed calls on my phone, hadn't I? When I got out, and the poor thing was worried sick. He didn't know what the hell had gone on, and because he just knew I was just coming to this place in Lincoln and meeting some big bald bloke. Poor sod was absolutely worried sick, because I'd passed about 2.5, 3 hours. Yeah, you just you let me flow, and we worked as things came up that needed, that you went, yep, there we are, there's a moment, let's try that, let's see where we can take that. And honestly, I just felt, I can never find the words for it, different, just calmer, just more peaceful. Definitely. Not as manic in my mind. And obviously that was added to after the second session, and I think we had a bit of a gap before we did session 3. I'm sure we did 3 sessions.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm not disagreeing. I just think I can't. I thought we did 2 and an old pain, but we may have.
The old pain we did within another session. We added on.
Okay. Yeah.
I think.
Because you had some unresolved stuff, didn't you? There was some. You was waiting for some test results at the time, I think, as well.
MRI results. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because what we worked on, you know, they basically said there is no problem with, didn't they? There was nothing reason for me to be in so much pain.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm guessing we'll cover that in a bit.
Yeah. Well, but so integral eye movement therapy. Phenomenal. And you actually wrote me a review that kind of it brought a bit of a tear to me. To be fair, I'll be honest with you. You know, Bricky with a bit of a tear in his eye. Put it down to hay fever. Wrong time of the year though. But it was just, people always say thank you for helping. Okay, but it just really seemed to mean so much to you. It really meant so much. Yeah. And you called me Magic Eye Man.
And from that day, you know, when I get in touch now, it's all right, Magic. I honestly, after those first few sessions, before you know, I understood it and trained in it, I was like, it is a literal magic. I told so many people, and on the back of it, you know, people close to me came and had sessions with you, didn't they? And
Yeah,
they were, as like I said, wrote in my review, they were just as amazed as me. You know, things that they'd been dealing with for years and years and years and had never been processed, not properly, were
yeah.
suddenly not controlling their lives anymore.
Mm.
And I think that's the big thing, not to be defined because of one event or multiple events, whatever it be.
Yeah.
And we're
But
not
we all know how.
saying it's the grand master of all therapies. I know Andrew Austin, the guy that developed it, is very clear on that. He's not saying that this is the heal all, but it is bloody good.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah. I know he likes to play it down, and I get why he does as well. Because obviously, there's always somebody going to throw counter examples about anything.
oh, of course.
We go through life with that, but it's now down to us as practitioners to kind of to prove how well it does work for a lot of people. You know, and it is. It's not one of these things that kind of we feel better one day and then feel crappy again the week after. It kind of, the things that we deal with are dealt with, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's great for us to be able to do that and give people a little bit of peace of mind. It's like you said earlier about, you know, we was on about complexities, weren't we? You know, just before we actually started the recording, there's a lot of complexities in every part of life. So people who suffer with like a traumatic experience, there's always repercussions in other parts of life, and we can do a one technique to kind of sort out the traumatic event, or a few techniques around that, as long as we work with the right part, because obviously we know where that is through the training and stuff. But then that throws other little things into the mix as well, because people don't just go through life with that one thing. Then it kind of changes what they do in life, that creates a whole new set of problems for them.
Absolutely. Trauma in any way, shape or form changes a person forever, whether it be the loss of a loved one, whether it be something as, you know, widely known and bizarre as Dunblane, whether it be, I can't even begin to imagine.
And also we kind of know as well that things don't need to be overly traumatic to traumatize people.
No,
It's all down to perception.
thing. The slightest thing, but if it has an impact on how that brain takes it in and processes it and mulls it over and reacts to other things on the back of how they felt in that moment,
Yeah.
it does over time create who we are. That's, you know, I can always remember in our sessions you saying to me, you'd probably be better explaining the linchpin a bit more, but me always saying I don't regret being there. I don't regret my time there. I loved my years in Dunblane. I was so happy. I had the most beautiful friends. It was the most beautiful place. I had a free, safe, because that was one day of my years there. Happy life. But that changed.
And it's the one day that everybody remembers of a certain age.
Yeah.
Everybody remembers that. Everybody was horrified.
Yeah. I always say there's a Dunblane reaction when the conversation's flowing and however it happens, it gets round to it. And I'm quite comfortable with knowing where I've come from and what I experience. And you say about Dunblane and it's oh, every time, like, oh my goodness, oh, that's so awful, you know. And it is, but it is a part of who I am. And I don't regret who I am. I don't regret the fact that it made me such an empath. I don't regret the fact that it made me want to protect and love and nourish and, you know, I've got two stepchildren in this house that I love more than anything in the world, and I would give my life for, do you know, I would give my all for. And I know a part of that comes from being that
Yeah.
confused little girl, not even in that moment scared little girl, because I was 8. We heard banging. Me and my best friend stood there and discussed how the builders upstairs, because that's what we assumed it would be from. We discussed how much trouble they'd be in when the headmaster found out.
Mm.
You know, the mind didn't process it. It was a learning about what had gone on while we were experiencing that, seeing, knowing, you know, that the guy we saw from the other side of the playground was not just
Shooting. Yeah.
was making those holes in the glass, was making those holes in the wall behind you. But in that moment, I don't remember fear. Even at the point that the teachers say, you know, we've got to crawl back to our classrooms and sitting behind a desk, I wasn't scared. I was secure in life. I knew. I don't know. I can't. I guess I can't explain it. My best friend was beside herself. Her little sister died. She didn't know in that moment. Nobody had told her.
Mm.
Emotionally, did she know? Spiritually, did she know her little sister was gone? I tried to cry for my brother. Couldn't do it. And it's not that I don't love him. I'm a right douchebag, but I love him, and you know, I'd protect him with my everything. And I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, it is part of the formation of who you are, and I believe that every part of who I am, including wanting to be that therapist that can really, really, really help people, comes from that day.
Mm. Yeah.
Sorry, I may have gone off on a tangent there. Felt important.
Sorry?
I may have gone off on a tangent there. It felt important.
Fine. Fine. Well, we didn't want to keep this structured, did we?
No.
I just wanted to let you just go and just let you have your say.
Well, yeah, I like to do that. We know that.
Well, yeah, I already know.
Yeah. Everybody knows that about me. Even like the kids' school are like, oh, yeah, she's the one that likes the chat.
Yeah. Is that why they all walk off really quickly?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a talkative person.
It's good though. No, it's good. But so it's pretty much been life changing for you then.
Yeah.
The whole eye wiggling thing.
The whole eye wiggling thing is just, yeah, it's been insane. It's been one hell of a ride the last, year and a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And like you were saying, about things happening in life and impacting on things that you didn't know were an issue, or
Yeah.
uncovering something in a session that then you didn't even process as an issue in your life is a big part of it. And we recognized that with me, didn't we? I spoke to you during the first lockdown and said or just after the first lockdown and said I've really
Yeah. It was in that little cat, wasn't it? Where they kind of relaxed the rules a little bit.
Yeah, it was just before I fell pregnant, I think. Or would I have just been pregnant? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'd reached out to you and I said, I don't understand why I'm suddenly battling so hard again, because it'd been so good. I'd had times of stress in my life since the sessions and before then, where things were hard and I was tired and emotions ran high, but I hadn't gone back to really battling those thoughts and those perceptions every day. And I was finding myself really struggling again, and nothing had changed. I'd got everything I wanted in life. When I say I believe in law of attraction, the difference in my life since I've healed that piece of my mind and been able to really connect with my beliefs, oh my God, it's so different. I'm living a dream come true. And it was so frustrating that I just didn't feel like it again. And we uncovered, didn't we, that actually being locked down was very similar, I guess, in so many ways to life after the day of the shooting in Dunblane that we couldn't go out. We couldn't just walk to our friend's house because the streets were lined with press. And I mean, we had the most wonderful little cottage and garden. It was beautiful. But our garden sloped down and overlooked a river. And there was press stood the other side of the river trying to get photos of us playing in our gardens. What life resumes in Dunblane? No,
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
resumes after that.
So obviously all the parents are keeping the kids in away from the danger of press.
The danger, yeah.
And then we go into lockdown to 2020, and all of a sudden, thrown back in there a little bit. You know, it's that the oppression, the sense of not being free to do what you want or need to do.
Yeah. Children at home, children, you know, school's not open,
Mm.
not feeling safe to go for, you know, or walk in the street or, you know, be near people or. And I didn't recognise it, did I, at all? And I was just like, I just don't understand, like, just, and there it was, clear as day, and processed, and
We did a little bit of that, and jobs are good again.
yeah, I'm quite happy to live in pyjamas for the rest of my life. Like, lockdown can last as long as, you know, I can have a family.
This is great. This has been good.
Yeah.
And it's nice you actually being able to talk and go through the whole lot, because I've only heard this in little bits and bobs, obviously during our session, and not all of this. You know, you kind of allowed a little bit more, you know, you've allowed us to hear a little bit more about what was, you know, the ins and outs as well, because it's not just the events in life, is it, that make us who we are?
No, like my battles over the years and times where things got really severe, I never directly correlated to Dunblane. During them, so it had formed I guess an emotional breakdown point in me. Amy can't take any more at this point, but you know, it I guess, again, coming back to how I've processed the world, and I guess my own self-worth that developed on the back of it, and just being an angry teenager, not being a 13, 14, 15-year-old that was really battling her mind, just an angry person. A lot of I guess personality was shaped by that, and that was a belief that that's who I am, that's who I'm destined to be. Led me to some difficult places. You know, it wasn't just Dunblane I experienced. There was very negative sexual experiences. There's been incredibly emotionally abusive relationships. There's been oh, goodness.
You don't have to go into everything.
Yeah, I almost, because it's just been my life, and it's not. I guess I don't see it as severe as what so many other people have been through. You know, there is people that have had absolute hell throughout their whole childhood. I experienced a day. Like, life does go on after that. Like, do you think the people that still live there were still living this day by day by day and allowing it? Oh, it will have had an impact on their lives and who they've become, but not, doesn't mean to say it had to be a negative thing. Look at Andy Murray. He's flying high. He still hurts over it.
Do you know what? There's a lot of people who don't know this fact, and I only found out about a year ago. You may have actually told me. I can't remember. But Andy Murray, the world-renowned tennis player, was at Dunblane the same day.
He was in my class. He was.
Yeah.
Primary 4, Mrs. McTurk's class. He was, yeah. And look at what he's done with his life. He's not been defined by it. I mean, obviously, when he first became somebody in the sporting world, the press were all over it. I can remember seeing the articles. I can remember everybody, and he shut them down. He didn't want to talk about it. He did. he didn't want that to define him in his career that he'd worked so hard for. And I guess I didn't have that in my life, did I? I had that. It did define me because that made me my somebody, not
yeah.
the things
I know what you mean. Yeah, that kind of gives you status.
Yeah, and a reason to be.
An arsehole.
Yeah, let's be honest. Yeah, bit of a prick.
Yeah, but them things do, I think, you know, that's kind of, a lot of people do that as well. And we see that as therapists, don't we?
Yeah.
You know, the clients have always, they need something to blame for everything that's bad in their life.
Yeah,
and it's not always, I know people do have these things, but it's not always the case. You know, it's kind of, I need to blame something.
Yeah.
Rather than changing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah, this is why I am how I am, so fuck off if you don't like it. But actually, no, it is still on you. It is, you can make that difference in your own life. And that doesn't mean life's always going to be rosy. It doesn't. Like, you know, things are going to keep happening in life that have impacts that could unveil past wounds that you didn't even know you had. But it's sorry, it's knowing that there is something that can help, and you can do something about it, and you can completely recreate your whole world. My other half, my Ryan, is my best friend in the whole world. He's my everything. I can remember he's been affected by trauma. He lost, I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying, his older brother. Ryan's is the youngest of three, and his middle brother took his own life at 21, and so to him, I guess being with somebody who's got so many episodes of attempted suicide and self-harm in their past must be pretty scary. After what he's experienced. And I can remember when we were first together, it's a bit of a long love story that's not really relevant to this, but a few years ago when we got together, he said to me, "Beautiful things happen when you don't give up, Amy." And those words have forever stuck in my mind, because I am living the true example of that. I am, like, that doesn't mean to say that every day my mental health is perfect. That doesn't mean to say that I don't still battle things in life and I don't become overwhelmed. And, you know, I've got crazy amounts going on in my world at the minute, and I can't sit here and say I'm not finding some of them bloody hard. But I think the whole world is. Look at the situation we're in again, something we could never have planned for, never have prepared for, not emotionally, not mentally, and that's why there's such an increase in the suicide rate since the first lockdown, and it's killing me that I'm not out there fixing it. You know, we're here, we can help, and like, I mean it, like, you won't believe the things your life brings to you when you don't succeed in that suicide attempt, or you don't go through with it. I'm amazed. I honestly, like, the last few years of my life have been something that I've spoke to you before. I could write a book on, because it's
I told you, you should write a book.
I did start it, but I got dead busy. Like, the children.
Do you want me to proofread it for you?
Hey,
shall I proofread it for you?
Don't. That's my job for you, isn't it? Bless you. I'll just make sure I don't call you a twat too many times, innit? Hey,
it's fine. Everybody who knows me knows that I am anyway.
Well, yeah, they've got to, but it's part of what makes you you. And actually, to me, how real you are, and I can't remember if I said this in the review or not, but how real you are was part of what made me so comfortable. Like I said before, my stepdad's a builder, my parents, mum, dad, stepdad, bikers. You know, I've grown up around the banter, the you know, the lads, the man's man, And coming in and just, I don't even know how long it would have been before I called you a dickhead for the first time. Might not have been by that, but
I think it was almost instantly, to be
yeah,
fair.
yeah. But it worked for me. It worked for me. But you've seen that variety of clients. You've seen the ones that say nothing. You've seen the ones that I guess need you to be quite the professional.
Yeah.
I don't know if you manage it
I
completely, but
don't know. I've not actually managed to do that bit yet.
keep your,
I'm really trying though. I'm really practicing.
you'll be all right. You'll be all right. Just don't say too much. But no, that's a genuine thing, and I don't know whether I said it to you or wrote it in the review. It did make a difference that you were relatable, and I could sit there and just blurt it all out, just like
Just do this. And just do this.
yeah. This has been a lot of us getting to know each other. Has been like this, hasn't it? Just
Yeah.
talking everything through, and then discovering those issues as a part of it. I'll revisit it for the rest of my life if it's gonna give me more of what I've got today, and if it's gonna keep giving me such happiness.
Good.
Yeah.
This is good though, is it? I love this. This is exactly why I do this work.
Yeah.
You're one of many. Obviously, you're unique in your own way, but you're one of many that has this kind of this after outlook, if you like. It's that life. I can get on with things.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never gone back to being suicidal. Never.
No.
Never. And for me, I'm not saying I spent my life in and out of specialist centres. I didn't. I mean, and my first overdose was at 14. My first suicide attempt was at 14. It was an overdose, intentional. Um, it. I woke up in a hospital bed. Is all I know. I've obviously had conversations with my mum since, and there was elements of it where I thought I was dreaming. I was dreaming, recollecting something to a friend, and I guess I must have been speaking out in the hospital, and I can't remember where I was going with that.
14, first suicide attempt.
Yeah,
In a bed.
yes, and even after that, like I never had any form of therapy.
Didn't you even get offered any counselling or?
No, not to my recollection at all. No, because I would have taken it. But but if I hadn't have taken it, my bloody mother would have got me in there. Do you know? She actually, I can remember her saying to me, Amy, is it not enough that I almost lost you once? Like, I can't lose you again. Like, seeing that pain on your mum's face is something I'll never forget. And in the subsequent times in my life where I've reached that point, it's taken more to get there, because there is that awareness of the potential of what you're doing to the people behind you. I think when you're in the absolute depths of it, you can't think about the people that you love. But having seen the pain in your mum's face that she nearly lost her little girl again, like, is it not enough that she sent her to school one day thinking she would be safe with her friends, and 16 children didn't get to go home to their mums? One teacher didn't get to go home to her husband. To have known that a choice I made, not necessarily a choice, because I wouldn't say that the me that is me, the rational, well-minded, loving person that I am, didn't make that choice. Somebody broken that could not bear to spend another minute in her head made that choice.
Yeah.
It just takes it a bit longer to get to the point where you're so far gone you can't consider what pain that would cause another person. And each time she's or has seen me have a real dip with my mental health, because it's come in phases. I'm not saying I've been poorly since I was 8 years old. It's things have hit harder, let's say. I've, you know, like we've said, I've processed things differently. But I can see she's so scared. She's so scared that, you know, what if she tries it again? You know, it happened again when I was 22. Wasn't as severe. It wasn't necessarily a suicide attempt, but it was quite a serious self-harm and the beginning of some quite tremendous anxiety attacks and I suppose mental breakdown sounds very severe, doesn't it? But definite emotional breakdowns. And she's so scared. She doesn't know what to do other than to pick me up and almost carry me back to hers with her and look after me for a couple of weeks, because what else can she do as a mum? She can't get inside my head and fix it. And I think probably the difference she's seen in me is quite astounding, really.
What, recently?
Since
the IMT stuff?
Yeah. I don't know. I see the world differently. There are still parts of me that overanalyze, that overreact, that, you know, I'm sure, I have no doubt I'll have more sessions with you in the not too distant future whenever we're allowed in a room together again. I know a lot of practitioners are doing the sessions over Zoom, but I'm not interested. I want to feel the energy in the room. I want to feel that lightness. I want to know I won't deliver sessions at the moment over Zoom. I'm not confident enough as a practitioner to know that I would get it right over Zoom, and I can't risk giving this practice a bad name by giving clients a bad service, because it means too much to me. It's made too much of a difference to my life to risk the reputation of it, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, good.
I can be
nice.
I'm not always an arsehole.
Well, that's out for debate at the minute. But this really lovely, and I really appreciate you talking like this. Very candid and straight down the line. I didn't want it to be all about the IEMT stuff, but I wanted kind of people to understand that people can go through lots of different complex issues and still come out the other side.
Yeah.
And there is things out there, in particular the IMT, that's going to make a difference for people.
Definitely.
I'd say the Zoom thing, at the minute I'm the same. I don't want to do that because I feel better when I'm sat in the room with the client. I can see exactly what's going on. I can see the body language. I can read things that's going on. Little things that I would probably miss on video chat or whatever, I will pick up. Even the breathing, things like that.
Yeah.
Just a little hunch of the shoulders that you probably wouldn't notice on camera.
Yeah.
In a session, don't you?
Absolutely.
It makes all the difference.
You feel the process happening. You know, I think you know really whether you're making a difference or not.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because like we say, we're not promising, you know, this is the grandmaster, it will heal everything, but it's bloody well worth a try. Like, it's what have people got to lose? Like, if they're in a situation like I was, where I'm not saying nothing helped. I had, you know, talk therapies and hypnotherapies that were, I guess, were part of the process to get me out of some really shitty situations. I mean, it was after counselling and hypnotherapy that I stood up and ended my relationship with my husband, which was an appalling relationship. Like, when I look back on it now, I'd normalised so much stuff, like so much that was just not okay, like really not okay. But for a long time, pre-IEMT, it was okay, because that's, you know, somebody loved me. I was loved. I was protected. I will always protect you. You know, I will always, nobody will ever hurt you. Oh, I'm safe. Yeah. It doesn't matter that these things are going on, and I'm screaming out inside to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying nothing helped. That's not, I can't sit here and say that nothing ever helped, but it didn't fix a lot of stuff that I didn't want to carry forward in my life anymore. So
Great.
all right, mate.
Shall we call it a day? It's been about 4 hours.
Standard with us, isn't it? I said to Ryan.
Yeah, you get the kids to bed.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to chat.
But yeah,
Is there anything else you want to say, or is
just
that really happy?
you always.
Happy to have got it out?
Hey?
Happy to have got it out there?
Yeah, yeah. Like I say, I've always been okay talking about it, but I think part of the okay talking about it in the past was giving me something that was about me. I wasn't able to recognize that actually just being me was enough. Being the loud, chatty, sarcastic, awkward, foul-mouthed little delight that I am today. Not so little delight that I am today. Thanks, baby. You know, that is enough. That is enough for a genuine person, a true, beautiful, genuine person to love. That is enough for two amazing kids to look up to, and to be excited to get in the room and cuddle me in the mornings, and whose faces light up when I, you know, get to their classroom door at the end of the day. It is enough for those friends in my life that genuinely just love me for me, and I can't understand it. Like, I don't know why these people want to be around me, because I've been such a pain in the ass. I've been so mean, and you know, people have welcomed me back with everything, and actually, yeah, I am bloody enough. I am worthy of the right things, and it's taken different steps along the way to show that to me. But yeah, thank you, Carl. Like, I must say it to you about 3 times a week. I swear to God. There aren't the words. There aren't the words to say.
Don't, you'll set me off.
Don't roar. Oh, let's get you.
I'll have to move them plants out of here.
Come on, get your Kleenex. Have a little sock.
That's all.
Definitely never needed to cry into your box of tissues, have I? Can you remember? I don't think I ever cried actually over Dunblane and stuff, did I? The first time I cried in one of your sessions was about my dog, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The love for my dog, and you know, decisions and mistakes, and the love I have for him. So yeah. I was like, oh, I can't believe this is the thing I'm crying over. But yeah.
That's what makes us normal.
Yeah. And thank you to your very understanding wife too, for knowing that not only was I going to turn up at your house and talk to you for hours, I was then going to pounce on your dog in the living room on the way home.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
No, it's
And it's, you know, it's like I said before, this is exactly why I do what I do. You know, you turn up as well, and we have become friends as well, haven't we? You know,
definitely.
You know, and it's nice. You know, it is really nice.
I'm forever grateful. If you ever need a kidney, let me know.
I'll hold you to that if you chat.
Probably will, then, all you old bastard. I promise I wouldn't swear too much on this recording.
No, it's all right. Don't worry about it.
Quite refined for me.
Sorry?
I've been quite refined for me.
You have, actually, yeah. You swear much more than this normally. You can tell this is going to go out.
I'm good.
Thank you so much, Amy.
No, thank you, Carl. I do appreciate it. And actually, you know, thank you for this opportunity to to give my version of how this has helped, because, you know, it's good to get it out there. It's good to share, and I pray if one person sees this video and gets that glimmer of hope that things will be okay, then actually it's worth every second spent, isn't it? It's like I said about my training. If I can go out there and only work with one client, but I can make things better for them that they didn't think were going to get better, my job's done. Like, I am complete. So yeah, hopefully it reaches somebody and they go, it's okay.
We do get a buzz for that though, that's the trouble.
I'll keep wanting to do it more and more, won't I?
This is it.
Well, yeah. I'm a bit...
This is good, because you're able to do that. You've got the skills and the knowledge to be able to actually change somebody's life.
I know. It's
really quickly.
It's magic. So I take it back. It's not before I understood it, I thought it was magic. It even is now. Even though, you know, I've been able to use it with people, it is great.
It's not just me.
No, he's not the only talented one out there. No, you're very good at what you do, and obviously I've attended your training since, and that's been great. And being the perfectionist and determined little sod that I am not to ever get anything wrong, I did your training twice.
Yeah, but that's a good thing.
I'm scared to work with
people. There's so much information, isn't there?
Yeah.
To take in one go. There's a bit of a mind melt thing goes on, especially on the second day. It kind of just goes, I've had enough. I don't want to. Can't take any more of this in. So revisiting. I'm exactly the same as you. I need to do it. I need to do it more. And the more I do it, the more natural it becomes and the more I get it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you can come to as many trainings as you like.
Yeah. In all fairness, do you know what? I probably will, because I love refreshing, and it's hearing the other people in the room, isn't it? Discussing and seeing even, you know, the most highly trained therapists in your room. You know, when there's me sat there with no form of therapy background, you even prior to, I know you'd done therapy before, hadn't you? But nothing quite as amazing as this. But there's people with, you know, every qualification going, coming and sitting in your rooms that are working as, you know, really successful therapists in their field, that are coming on this training, and hearing that and seeing that moment in them where something switches, where, you know, when you in the training, when you bring someone to the front and you do a mini session on them for the other practitioners to see, and seeing people work through stuff there and then as therapists. You know, these are people that are trained to help, but it just goes to show there is something in everybody that we might not even be aware of, but we are holding on to in some way.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to do that more and more. I think I'm going to do a little mini more demonstrations, definitely, especially in the live in the room training. I'm looking at doing Zoom training anyway, but in the room training, I definitely will continue doing that, because people like to see how it works in real time, don't they? As well, that helps. And yeah, watching the person shifting from state to state to state to state, and then coming out the other end thinking, wow, what just happened there? You know, within half an hour, it's just incredible to see. It's like the training exercise that we do at the start within the first 20 minutes. Think about something from a long time ago, and everybody's gobsmacked about how different something can feel.
Yeah.
With one iPad.
Yeah, I think I mentioned to you, I've even, obviously, since I've trained in it and I know how to use it properly, I've done eye movements on myself. I was it was only a couple of weeks ago, a memory came to my mind, and it felt horrible. It was something that I'd obviously completely put to bed. I don't know why it came up, where it came from. It wasn't some big mass event in my life. It was, I don't know, maybe a conversation, just one thing I'd done as a younger person. And I worked through it, and I physically couldn't get the picture. I couldn't bring that memory back to cause that negative emotion again. It was, and it still shocks me now. when I experience it myself, even knowing
how it works
how
and
I've
how.
progressed through it, but also seeing it on other people. It's just, yeah, it just,
You know what? I'm still amazed by the change that we can create. I've seen thousands of people, but everybody, again, it's kind. I get the same buzz from being able to do that for somebody every single time. That never goes away. I never tire of that ever.
no, no. And that's the passion, isn't it? That's the passion that nobody should have to suffer the way society suffers today.
Yeah.
It's I love that in society we are learning to love each other for exactly who they are, not who some predefined version of who they should be, how they should conform, and what their beliefs should be, and but that also we're recognizing that anyone can suffer with their mental health and be helped before it's, before it's too late. We can't ever catch them all, but as a world, we're just becoming more love, less judgment, and I hope that's helping people to access the services they need to deal with whatever expectations, I guess, life and society and the world has put on them. I think, I know a big thing for you is the stigma of male mental health, and it's something obviously I'm hugely passionate about because of Ryan's loss, and I wasn't fortunate enough to have known his brother, but I am however many years later seeing how that is still breaking that family and hurting their souls, but it's okay because they can have it helped.
Do you know what? I think one of the reasons why I'm quite vocal about what I do, obviously, there's a bit of a business thing there as well, but I'm a normal bloke. I'm just like the people who would feel uncomfortable coming to see a therapist. I'm that man. I am that guy.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that I know the people who know me or know of me quite well will know that they can come and see me, and it's going to be just like chatting to an old mate, because that's what everybody gets.
It is, yeah. From the first day.
Yeah, from the minute we sit down. Obviously you know that because we'd never met before. We'd exchanged a few emails. You sat down, you gave me some grief, called me a dickhead. Jobs are good. We just got on with it.
Yeah.
And I want this. Well, I think women are okay with it anyway. How I am, because I'm just probably what they recognise in their own partners or husbands and stuff. It's just a bit of whatever.
Granddad.
Yeah, yeah. Yes. Yeah, I know. Yeah, go on. But guys don't see that, and I've had people who know me will contact me and say, I want to come see you, babe. I'm a bit embarrassed by that, and they'll sit down, and within 5 minutes they just go, relax, because they know it's not what they think it is.
Yeah.
This is it. They come with a preconception of what we're going to do.
The therapist in the suit and the lounging chair and them.
Yeah, then we start throwing ask him all the secrets and start throwing big words at him and stuff. You know as well as I do, I don't know any big words. That's why my training's all right. That's why everybody can understand it, because I don't know any big words.
Because you have to dumb it down for your delivery, don't you?
Exactly. So when they come, it's just normal. It is just like going to see an old mate, even if you've never met before.
Yeah, definitely.
You get on, they go home, hopefully feel better. That's good.
Yeah, definitely. And I hope the message gets out there to more of them that, this dickhead does actually know his stuff.
I can lay a brick.
Yeah, exactly. You can offer him a price on any building work at the same time, can't you?
I've had clients ask me.
I asked you. You'd be bloody good.
Oh, you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
but you got somebody else in, didn't you? Somebody goes, right, yes, let's get.
Should we call it a night?
Should we wrap this up?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Lovely.
Only because I've got
It's been
another
great talking to you.
sitting on my big pregnant backside for so long.
Thanks, Amy.
It's all right. I'll catch you later.
You take care.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.